started. Here we go.
She got 20 years in the business, tall with red hair. From chic to solo, now she out here. Out where? Stockholm City, it's not fair. Sylver, Logan, Shopping Improvement right here.
Today's Friday is a living legend. Originally from Columbus, Georgia, and a product of an HBCU, Morris Brown College, where she performed every genre of music from musical theater to grand opera. And when I say every genre, I'm talking she can go from gospel to classical at the drop of a dime. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. Her music spans from the 70s to right now, produced by some of the greatest R&B giants to do it, like Dexter Wansel, Grover Washington Jr., and of course, Gamble and Huff of Philadelphia International Records, just to name a few. She has countless hits that we all grew up on. Y'all know all of these songs. My mama had every single record, like No Laughing Matter, Free Love, When I Find You Love, Closer Than Close, Flame of Love, Don't Love Nobody, and her theme song and one of WHUR's classics, Don't Let It Go to Your Head. Now, this generous diva helped to give me my start in the business. I sang background for her for many years, and even now, still from time to time. She, along with radio host of Soulful Sundays in Philadelphia, Deanna Williams, and the late Philippa Brisbane, together helped propel me to what will become a 20-year position as the lead singer of the legendary group Chic. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's called that village. That's called that mothering right there. And they gathered around me and literally raised me up to the artist that you see right now. With that said, let the Feel Bettering begin, okay? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Feel Bettering, please. Welcome to the LOFT, the incomparable Jean Carn.
It doesn't get any better than that. Welcome to the LOFT.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, daughter dear. Jean Carn, y'all. Give it up. We've got a few guests in the loft today. And some watchers out there in Facebook Live world. Give it up one time for the one and only Jean Carn. Now, I know it's weird, but you can hear them clapping. If you listen really hard, you can hear them at Facebook land. Can't y'all hear them? Don't play along. Just play along. Right, I know, right? There's no applause. One of y'all got an applause on this somewhere. Anyway, we are here on this beautiful day. See, that's why the sun is shining, because you have shown up and blessed the loft. And we're in here making magic with the one and only Jean Carn. Now, you know this is extra special to me because we go back. We go all the way back. We got to shout out to Nathan Heathman. If you know anything about DC, anything about Moments Notice, anything about triples and the ibex, and I could go on and on. My humble beginnings, and I will never forget the day that Nathan was at the ibex doing an open mic in the Marvin Gaye room. Come on, y'all, DC, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And called me and said, "What you doing?" And Nathan had a way of saying, "What you doing?" Cancel it. And snatch it up and come to the ibex right now. I need you to do some backgrounds for Jean Carn. And I was like, "Jean Carn, you mean don't let it go to your head, Jean Carn?" He said, "Come on right now." And he was like, and he knew I knew because my mom really did have all of the records. All of them. Every single one of them.
Go Paula.
Okay, she had every album, and this was the soundtrack in my house, along with many other wonderful, wonderful. You've been making records and touring and raising children and being a radio host and then some. Is there anything you can't do? You can cook and everything. Is there anything you can't do? You play multiple instruments. I mean, people don't know that about you.
True.
They don't know that about you. Is there anything you can't do?
We're still learning. So
Well, see, good answer. I like that. Well, now, tell me about, we can't go through all of them because your hits have hits, but you have worked with, you know, when you think of, like when I think of what your Facebook page might have been like back in the day, George Duke, you know, Stanley Turrentine, Earth, Wind and Fire, you know, these would have been your Facebook friends and then your real life friends. People don't know that you are even the voice on Boogie Wonderland. Please talk about that. Didn't you work do that whole Earth, Wind and Fire vocals on all
I
of
worked
that?
with them before Boogie Woogie.
See.
That was the Emotions.
Yeah, of course, but no, of course, we all know that, you know, the Emotions, they were wonderful. I got to tour with them one good time. But I read in there that you were one of the voices on that now. Is that not true?
Nope, not on that particular.
Not on that particular record. So the Earth, Wind and Fire things that you did before were on earlier albums.
Yeah,
No?
when Earth, Wind and Fire was on Warner Brothers.
Okay.
Wow.
That was before they went with CBS.
Okay.
And the albums I sang on were The Need of Love and Earth, Wind and Fire.
Fire. Okay.
That both Doug Carn and I appeared on those
Right.
albums.
Wow.
Because we were neighbors with Earth, Wind and Fire.
See?
We all lived in the same apartment complex in Hollywood. It was
Wow.
called the Landmark.
Wow.
And that was the building that Janis Joplin died in.
Really? Wow. That is, and you all lived in that building? Wow, that's incredible. See, these are the kind of things you would have no idea. And so who was the very first person to produce you? Was it George or was it before that? What was before that, yeah? Besides, before Doug, obviously, and your first 3 records.
Yeah, well, Doug and I started recording first.
Right.
We recorded in the same studio, Sunset Sounds, as Earth, Wind and Fire's first 2 albums,
Oh, wow.
because that was the only studio we knew.
Okay.
Because we had done the 2 albums with them,
Wow.
and so that was the studio that
was
recorded Infant Eyes, and then we went to New York to do Search for the New Land and Revelation, those albums on Black Jazz Records.
Wow.
You know it well, don't you?
Right. We have a radio legend in the house.
Thank you.
Yes, Joe Gorham from WHUR World. WHUR, you know, Joe Gorham's in the house, y'all. He is a radio legend all over the place. And I had to, first of all, he would never spoken to me again if he was not in here while you were here. And because when I need to really know some history, never mind Google, call Joe. Because Joe knows for real. Joe's like, you got that all wrong, Sil. That's all wrong. But yeah, let me see. Joe, I'm just going.
Don't call Google, call Joe.
Don't call Google, y'all. Call Joe Gorham, because he knows the history.
There it is.
Yeah. Come on, step on over here for a second and take my seat. Take my seat.
You know we're gonna put you on the spot.
Take my seat for a quick second while we got
I thought
radio
I was just
royalty in the
I
house.
thought I was just gonna come here and chill.
Yeah, well, you chilling, but you know.
Chilling? You're always cool.
You're always cool. He's got his silverware on and everything. Just got extra cool points.
You know I can't come.
You can't come in here. I want to dock your pay. Anyway, I'm just kidding. But now, now I know that y'all go back to in radio language. It was the first time you maybe interviewed her or
Back in radio language.
right in
First
radio
met-
years.
First met Jean at WHUR. And I interviewed Melvin Lindsay
Yes.
was doing with her. And that's how I met her. And then, I don't know if you remember this, there was a conference down in Florida a long time ago. I remember it because
Are you talking Jack the Rapper?
Woo!
I don't know if it was.
Who they going back
I
now?
don't know whose conference it was,
Okay.
but let me tell you, I remember it because of you. I remember it because Carl Anderson was there.
Wow.
I remember it because I met this guy who took me to his house, and he was.
Family show. It's a family show.
No.
Just remember.
No. He was married to Betty Wright. Sporty.
Wow.
Sporty? It was sporty, right?
Yeah, that.
Yeah. And so this is what I wanted to say. They had a boat ride one night. I forgot. I think Carl Anderson was performing.
Okay.
But guess who sat next to me the whole night?
Oh! You ain't been right ever since, have you? Ain't been right.
frisky self.
Well, see, that's a perfect segue to the next song, man. That's a perfect segue to the next song, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
That's a perfect segue. Joe, you see, this is what happens on Feel Better Friday, y'all, when the rock stars drop through.
You never know who's going to stop by.
That's right, you never know who's gonna stop by. So, I don't know, Joe, your foot gonna start tapping, your little shoulders gonna start moving. Watch this. Give it up one more time for Joe Gorham, WHUR World, y'all. Hey.
Our pioneer, our radio pioneer. You know, this tune was written and produced for me by two of my favorite OJs, Mr. Walter Williams, Eddie LeVert. Also, there's Dennis Williams, who is and has been and always will be the OJ's music director, and Dexter Wansell. Love me, baby, why? My love don't come easy, not tonight. Love me good, baby, love me right. My love don't come easy, unless it's right. Don't let go, let your feelings flow. Concentrate on the way. Take your time, love my mind, and kiss me right away. Ooh, the Thank you, Eddie Levert. Walter Williams. Dennis Williams.
Yes,
The
yes,
one
yes,
sound.
yes. You better sing up in here, Miss Jean, okay? Yes. Oh, I love that song. I love that song. One of the many, many
Yeah.
hits. Now,
That
I
was
think
beautiful.
I did mention Free Love. Who was it that wrote Free Love?
That was Gamble and
That
Hunt.
was
Anna
Gamble.
Gamble, Leon
I
Hunt.
don't want to mess it up.
And the arrangement was Bobby Martin.
Wow. Okay. That was Free Love, and My Love.
That was
Don't
my
Come-
first single.
And that was that. I want to say I was looking at chart positions, but to be honest with you, I can't even remember because you have so many. I pulled up about 3 sheets, and I was like, "There's no way you're gonna be able to talk about which one was number 1 and which one was number this and which." I don't know. I ought to ask Joe. Anyway, Joe's like, "Don't ask me nothing." Don't ask
Joe
me.
said those charts are old and moldy now.
Right,
You don't
I
remember
know,
what was
right,
on them
I
either,
know.
do you?
But you have been all up and down, the charts and all of that. Now I know that you did radio out of college, was it? And then you did it again later?
It
'Cause I
started
yeah, tell me this story.
with your best friend,
Wow.
Deanna Williams.
We love Deanna. Shout out to Deanna Williams,
Yay.
y'all, Philly. Yes, ma'am.
Soulful Sunday on WRNB.
That's right.
Sunday mornings.
Every Sunday morning.
10 until 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she does all kind of little competitions between
Yeah,
artists.
she
It's
has
really
a
good.
battle of the best.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been on that maybe,
Many times.
dozens of
Many
times.
And you win at least 90% of the time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you have also worked with some of DC's greats like Jeff Majors and the one and only the late Al Johnson.
We
Another
love
one that
Al. Oh my
we love
goodness.
Al. Daryl can tell
The
you.
Lord, the genius.
Yes.
And the genius, and it's funny because Daryl and I met at Perfect Sound. Shout out to John and everybody at Perfect Sound at a Four Kings rehearsal.
Yeah. And Al.
And Al was
Yeah.
the MD. And now he had all the cats in DC. I mean, he was notorious for having 2 drummers and about 18 background singers. Right, the 18, right, the 18. And in addition to Randy Choice, Al himself, and Cherie, Sweet Cherie, shout out to Sweet Cherie.
Yeah.
Then Daryl too on piano. That was just the piano
It was
players,
crazy,
people players.
yeah.
It was so crazy.
Genius team.
Oh my
Right.
goodness, boy, do we miss ourselves some
But
Al
you know what
Johnson.
was interesting too? Al and I got even closer. I was doing this agency band
Oh, right.
stuff, and I would actually go to Al's house while he was writing some of those charts out. Then he really liked some of the production I was doing at the time. So when we had a chance, we were working with Roberta Flack that summer.
Nice. Mama
And-
Rowe,
and-
what's
and
up?
yeah, and
Roberta.
Al was writing for that at the same point. So he trusted me to actually walk in the music to Roberta, and then we worked on that all summer. But
See,
Now, you know,
Yeah.
out of all the arrangers, when we used to use real horns, real strings,
Yeah.
and
Right.
violins,
Mhm.
violas, cellos, etc.
instruments.
Yeah.
right.
I've seen string sessions, everybody from Tom Bell to Dexter Wanzel, Jack
Yeah.
Faith, Leon Huff, oh gosh,
Yeah.
H.B. Barnum.
Yes, I
And
met him through
Al
you.
Johnson is the only arranger that, okay, the instrumentalists come into the session and they don't need a pencil with an eraser.
Right,
Right.
right.
His manuscript is so perfect.
Yep.
And I've seen many, because he's done lots of arrangements for the Spinners, for the Whispers.
Whispers
And I've been on a lot of those sessions, I've seen them, and you don't need a pencil.
you don't need
And that's
it.
unheard of.
They don't make
Yeah,
mistakes,
even-
right?
you know what's- yeah.
It's brilliant.
It
It's
is.
brilliant.
It
It's
is.
brilliant.
Yeah.
But
Al was actually. Here's another thing about Al. I remember we were doing rehearsals, and if someone was not playing the right part, he was like, "Yeah, on this song, if you go to bar 47," and he's not even looking at the score, and we're like, "Okay."
He wrote the score.
He wrote the
don't think
score,
you
but
can't hear,
I
you
mean,
can
the
hear the
part
notes you're supposed to play and the
everything.
ones you're
Oh
not
my
supposed to play.
goodness.
Right.
Big ears, big ears.
Now this is I have to do this. This is a little personal moment. I was raised on Jean Carn music. My mother is a pianist and a vocalist and dancer. That is where I get it from. And she had all kinds of
albums. George Butler, the late George Butler, was a very good friend of hers, so we got everybody's record. I called him Uncle George. And there was a song in particular, she played all of them, Genji and Revelation, and she played all of them. But this song, and I want you, I know there's a story, Where Did You Ever Go, is my mother's all-time favorite Jean Carn song. And she pulled this one out the crevices. Do you hear me? She reached deep for this one, all up under stuff, got her nails dirty and everything to get this one here. And it is just, it brings me, I'm gonna try not to cry because I just got my lashes done.
Don't cry, Paul.
And so, but this is, and I know there's a meaning behind it. I don't know what it is, I've never known the story, but this song is life-changing for me. Please tell us just a little bit.
Yesterday when we were rehearsing, I mentioned to you that the Sweeties, they worked for Patty. There was Yvette Benton, Carla Benson, and Barbara Ingram. They did 80% of the backgrounds on the Philly International product, and most of the things recorded in Philadelphia during the glory era. Barbara had a daughter, and they were thick as thieves, you know, they were like Boxy twins.
Right.
Just wonderful. And very suddenly, Barbara's daughter passed away.
Wow.
Yeah, and everybody at the label was just struck and mortified by that. Nobody expected it, and there she was, you know, by herself, essentially. So Dexter and I went in the studio, and Dexter wrote this song, and we did this one, Where Did You Ever Go? Now, most listeners think it's a girl-boy kind of love song. But listen to the lyrics from now on and know that the real meaning is in tribute and missing Barbara's lovely daughter.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Brian Rainier is here. Can you join us? Brian Rainier, everybody.
Come on in, Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, it is Feel Better Friday. We are live in the loft with the one and only Jean Carn and a host of brilliant people. Put your hands together for Chris Allen on percussion, Keith Showtime PC on bass, Benton Jones on drums, Chuck Dees on percussion and vocals. Joining us in the loft, the one and only Brian Rainier, and my co-host on Feel Better Friday and in life, Mr. Daryl L.A.Hunt. It's Feel Better Friday, y'all. Welcome to the loft. This is Where Did You Ever Go? It's Jean Carn.
You were someone who could comfort me, who could set me free. From the things that hurt my mind, with a smile. Now that you are gone, where do I belong? I must find a way somehow with a smile. If I could see you once again, I'm gonna do it. I get refused.
again. Tell me, where do I go now? How do I begin? How can I do anything? When does love stop loving? Where do you Mercy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh. Woo. The one and only Jean Carn, y'all. This is Feel Better Friday. We're live in the LOFT. This is an exclusive.
10 rules.
10 rules.
10 rules.
10 rules of survival.
10 rules of survival if stopped by the police.
Number 1, be polite and respectful when stopped by the police.
Be polite.
Be respectful.
Remember that your goal is to get home safely.
Your goal is to get home safely.
Your goal is to get home safely. I'm sorry.
Number 2, if you feel your rights have been violated, you and your parents have a right to file a formal complaint with your local police jurisdiction.
Number 3, do not, under any circumstances, get in an argument with the police.
Number 4, always remember that anything you say or do can be used against you in court.
Number 5, keep your hands in plain sight.
Make sure the police can see your hands at all times.
Number 6, avoid physical contact with police officers. Do not make any sudden movements and keep your hands out of your pockets.
Number 7,
Do not.
Do not.
Do not, do not, do not, do not.
Do not run, even if you are afraid. Number 8, even if you believe you are innocent, do not resist arrest.
Number 9, if you are arrested, do not make any statements about the incident until you are able to meet with a lawyer or public defender.
Number 10, stay calm and remain in control.
Watch your words. Watch your body language.
Watch your emotions. Remember.
Remember, your goal is to get home safely.
Get home safely.
You're going to find somebody that you don't know. Somebody that you don't know, and you have to give them a hug. Okay. All right? Bring it in, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Sorry for
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
We got some water bottles.
Family.
Thank you.
We'll bring some more out. God bless you guys.
Thank you. There you guys.
Here you go, sir.
I saw that and it was awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate you guys. You guys, you're an ambassador of change. I'm telling you, it's just awesome. So God bless you. Thank you.
So I've come up with the family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311.
I do. I feel better. You know why? Because that song is so personal. And you know, sometimes, you know, when you make music, we make records because it's a calling. And then you translate that calling on your heart into a song, into a poem, into a piece of art that then is translated by musicians. And they all have a different feel and a different touch and a different meaning. And then you add to it the poetry of someone's life. And you come up with a hit record like that that touches you, not only when it was written, but many, many, many years later. So thank you for that, Dexter. You are amazing. And that song lives deep. And when I tell you, she really pulled that one out. And it's about to take me out on Feel Better Friday. Y'all ain't got me with the ugly cry up in here on my own show. Shame on you, shame on you. But it's okay. But it's okay. I got tissue. If I wasn't live, I'd cut and go to commercial.
You're the one that said let it go.
I know, I can't. Oh my
Just
goodness.
don't do together.
But let me do this. I will cut to commercial. So during Feel Better Friday, right, we have something called Feel Better Facts. And it's just a little something that shows you, and this is a pure example. I don't even need to tell you the fact, because this is an example of the fact that studies show how singing can give you it can actually change you into a positive mood, and it changes among choir singers and including feeling happier and literally reducing anxiety and depression, and it makes you almost generally more optimistic in life. I'm talking about shower singers too. I'm talking about for people who can't sing, you know?
And you know, endocrinologists say that the reason is just like when you jog or when you spin or when you do cardio, endorphins are released in your body. And those are the happy enzymes and hormones that the body releases.
Absolutely, and it
so
literally
singing does that.
It really does, and it even helps with asthma. These are proven facts, you guys. That there's more to this whole singing thing than just a fancy way of breathing. The fact that singers, you have to use your body and your diaphragm. It's not just, you know, all that cute lip quivering and stuff folks doing videos. Don't believe the hype. That ain't how it happened in the studio. So, you know, all that. You know, that stuff, that's just video stuff. That's not how it happens in the studio. But you learn to breathe. And saxophone players, as you saw when Najee was here, and Brian is an excellent circular breather. Not saxophone player, circular breather. Because you know why? Because if you can't breathe, you can't play. Hey! That's a word right there for somebody. Hey! Thank you. Woo! I'm back now. Anyway, but the feel better fact is that singing really induces health. There's even scientific proof that it helps the immunity in cancer patients. Huh? Y'all ain't ready? Obviously, singing is not going to cure life-threatening disease, right? But a recent study suggests that it does still offer a lot of help just because it changes the mood and the anxiety, and those are the things that feed disease, whatever it is. So y'all keep singing. Keep singing. Keep singing. Just keep singing.
Hey, here's another thing though, and we're talking about it not necessarily healing, but it does, because if you remember, if we go back to when you actually had Vicky, you had
yes,
Roz,
Vicky, Lori, and Roz were here.
You have to tell this.
And a friend of April's was watching the feed, and her friend Karen is a mutual friend of Victoria. Shout out to Vicky Purcell Cohen, Roz White, and Lori Williams. And long story short, we were doing Feel Better Friday, and Vicky, we had gotten to that point where Vicky was in here having straight church, okay? Straight church. And the phone was live, and Karen was watching. Karen's mother was in hospice. I'm talking about to check out. They were giving her hours. They were watching Feel Better Friday. Miss Thing sat up in bed and raised her hands and said, "Praise the Lord." And they sent us a message while we were doing it. While we were doing it. She then passed the next day. Feel Better Friday was one of the last things she saw. You cannot tell me that God ain't all over that. You just can't.
Yeah,
Nothing you can say. Exactly. Nothing you can say. And, you know, I just want to say that we appreciate you for watching, tuning in, sharing with your friends, and all of that good stuff. But I'm going to get back to some of the greatness that is the one and only Jean Carn. Your song, Was That All It Was, believe it or not,
was also on the Precious soundtrack, right?
Right.
How did all that
It was
happen?
the bright spot.
Right.
In that very morose movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, so now I'm gonna have to watch it again because I did watch it, but I think I was needing therapy after that movie.
Yeah, well, it was therapy for Monique. In the
Yeah,
scene.
yeah,
She
it
was on
was.
fire.
Shout out to Monique, that was a brilliant piece, and to Gabourey, who was doing wonders on Empire. So, can we do just a little bit of Was That All It Was? Y'all want to take it to the hill? Just take it up, just a little snatch. Can we get that going? Can we get that going? Oh, we in that disco tempo, y'all. It's Feel Better Friday. We are live in the loft right now, getting it in with the one and only Jean Carn. Come on, y'all. I hope you're feeling better. This is how you do it. Shout out to my man, Jean Carn and Bill Prince, and my girl, Coco, and Lady Karen in the house. Come on.
Was that all it was?
Everybody's gonna watch Precious again on Netflix just to hear that song.
You're here.
Yes, I love it. Y'all, it's Feel Better Friday. How you liking Feel Better Friday? I'm feeling it. You feeling it?
I'm feeling better.
Good. It's working. My magic potion is working.
Totally.
But I must shout out the one and only Dr. Jennifer Jones, Dr. Renee Starlin Allen, the People's MC, and to all of the teachers out there celebrating. We're celebrating teachers. I think this whole week and month, it ought to be a year, because I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. That's right. Give it up for the teachers out there. Are you a teacher? Are you really in the DC public school system or Maryland, PG County? And what do you teach, Vincent? I didn't know that.
No. But there's so many different things in music. So what
specifically?
Like within music is it like?
If you say piano, I'm gonna leave right now. No. Get out! No, wait a minute. You can sing too? And I'm just finding that out. Oh, I'm gonna take hostage. That's kept secret.
I'm about to say, I'm looking at Jane's faces.
I'm like, you know you're gonna get a mic on the gig from now on, right? You know that, right? You better know your part. Yeah. Starting tomorrow, you're gonna have. Now I'm gonna just say this last thing because we're gonna start to wrap it up. The time goes by so fast. But this is what I want to say to you. When I first started singing with Jean, this is after the IBEX. This was after the IBEX, that's right, and I'm 35 and I look good. That's not, y'all, I'm just kidding. But I know, right? Say it, honey, that's why I married him. We, again, I got the call to come and sing with Jean, and shout out to Ike Archer and Jen Thomas if you're out there watching. Those are my homies, my right and left arm back in the day. And we were the section, honey. We showed up to sing for Miss Jean.
And showed out.
And carried on. And Jean always. Brian can tell you, we all came through Jean school. And Jean, you are one of the most generous artists on stage. And I think I learned that from you. Because I love to bring people up and I love to let them come jam with us. And I'm almost sure I got that from you because that's how you are. And although when you're walking down the hallways, though, you can't be rehearsing in the hallways, you have to whistle the part. She don't play that.
No previews to the
No
audience.
previews to the audience.
Right.
And so that first big gig, it was such a big deal to play at Blues Alley. It was such a big deal. And my grandmother, who I'm named after, my Sharp grandmother, she was also battling cancer. And my mom was like, where have you been? Because my grandmother had passed. And she didn't want to tell me because my grandmother said, I was coming to visit her. She said, no, you do that show, baby, and you come after the show. And she didn't make it through that, but she wanted me to be there. And that was my first time playing with Jean at Blues Alley. Jean is a legend at Blues Alley, and that's how legendary and how long that we have been playing in this venue. And because of you, they will now book me too. Ain't that fabulous? Look at God, y'all. Won't he do it? But I just got to get that in. Now, I think we're probably running out of time, so we should probably hit Don't Let It Go, right? Should we go straight on to Don't Let It Go? Daryl's like, no, I want to play the other song.
Can I just play the beginning of it?
Okay, we gotta do it. We gotta do it. You wanna do it? Just do it. Come on.
Jerry Butler, writer and producer. When I find you I will never let you slip away. Give your love to make it through the night. You never spend your night alone. You have my love to call your own. When I find you the one that I've been thinking of. Oh, I won't treat you lightly. I'll treat you so nicely. When I find you let me know you've always when I find you Jerry Butler.
Jerry Butler, another classic. Another Jean classic. Oh my goodness. I hope you are out there feeling better. How y'all feeling? Everybody good over here? Chuck, you doing all right? How can you not feel better, right? We got Busey over here and we got Chris over there. Just want everybody to say hi. We're also, we usually talk and cut up, but we so busy watching you. Ain't nobody got nothing to say. Good. It's Feel Better Friday, y'all. We are live in Loft with the one and only Jean Carn. As long as I've known you, as long as I have sung with you, been places with you, done all of this, I am still outdone that you are here in our space, blessing our loft.
I wouldn't be any place else.
I really, really appreciate it. And shout out to the village that is Coco and April.
My besties.
That's right, they keep us all together. It's Feel Better Friday. We are live in the loft with the one and only Jean Carn. Put your hands together one more time for Chris, Keith, Vincent, Brian, Chuck, Daryl. We are having so much fun. We cannot leave without doing probably, I don't know if it's your biggest hit. Maybe. You have a lot, but is this really the biggest one?
Yeah, even in Japan, they say, don't ready go to your house. No.
I love it. So with that being said, let's get it, y'all. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Come on. It's Feel Better Friday. We're live in the loft with the one and only Jean Carn. Come on.
Can we give it up for Sylver, Logan, Jean? Now that you know how I feel about you, let me hear you. Say, don't let it go to your head now. Sing it again. Don't let it go to your head now. Oh yeah. Now that you know, all the people say, don't let it go to your head now. Don't let it go to your head now. Don't take it. Oh, treat me good, treat me fair, treat me fair. WHUR, way back in the day. But you don't let it go to your head now. So much for being a special VIP diva guest on Feel Better Friday. This, whoo, I'm gonna have to lay down and take a nap. I swear, I'm gonna have to lay down and take a nap before I go to Gerald's next show with Ronette and Robert tonight. You guys, do you feel better? Do you feel better? Just even just a little bit better? Hopefully you're sharing in your
you're still watching and you had a wonderful, wonderful moment in time, live in the moment, right here, live at the Loft on Feel Better Friday. The crew represented as they always do. And the one and only Jean Carn has just blessed the Loft like nobody's business. Put your hands together one more time for Chris Allen, Keith Busey, Vinton Jones, Chuck Dees, Rainier, Daryl Hunt, and the one and only Miss Jean Carn. I'm so sharp, your host of Feel Better Friday. I love you like shit. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you for sharing. Until next time, stay blessed.